Question for you. What do you use to start a fire or to keep a fire going? If you said wood, that's a great answer. So I've got another question for you. Why would you put it on your roof? I want to talk today about this really old style of roof coating called wood shake and why it's just not a good idea in Colorado. So the first thing I'll talk about is what this stuff is made out of. A lot of it is cedar back in the day, and they did infuse it with some kind of fire retardant chemical, but that doesn't last. It's not going to last as long as people typically have a roof type of roof covering on their house for. So over time, this just becomes a massive fire hazard. If we go down here, you'll see how some of them are lifting up and curling, and that's just from being exposed to the sun, being exposed to the elements. So it's very common for these pieces of wood shake to curl, get caught in the wind, and then break off, and then it exposes this felt underneath. Now, the most important thing to remember about a roof is that it is not the covering that everybody sees that makes a roof waterproof. It is the underlayment underneath, and technically speaking, it's not even waterproof. It's just water shedding. So the main job of this coating, or asphalt shingles like you would see over there, which that style has been made to mimic wood shake, the whole point of that is to protect this underlayment here from the elements, especially out here in Colorado, like the sun or the snow or the hail and the rain. And so when these pieces of wood shake start flying off, we've exposed this underlayment. Now, this type of underlayment is essentially construction paper that's been saturated in asphalt, and it only has a 30-day exposure rating, which means that after 30 days of it being exposed to the UV from the sun, it is no longer good. It's dried out, and it actually becomes absorbent, like construction paper typically would become absorbent. Look, here's another one up here. It's exposed. And so now this area is exposed to the elements. It's dried up, and it's not going to shed water anymore. It's going to retain moisture. And when anything retains moisture, after a while, it hits its limit and will then start leaking back into the house. There's a couple other pieces that broke off. So that's one major issue with this wood shake. It becomes brittle, dries out, breaks off in the wind, exposes the underlayment. Then you've got problems later on in the next storm. The other problem, of course, we talked about is the fire resistant, or I guess lack thereof, fire resistance. And so this is just not a good roof covering. Definitely move on from here. When we estimate these out, we like to ask our clients, hey, are you paying more on your insurance because you have this type of roof covering? Some insurance companies do make you pay a little bit more for your premium. And then we like to offer options, roof options that will allow them to pay less on their premium after they get it replaced. So ask us about that. We will provide you with a ton of options. I want to talk about another area that's a problem on these types of roofs, because these types of roofs typically are on your roof, or this type of covering is typically on your roof for a long time, and is installed with this metal valley flashing. It's called W valley flashing. Because it's on there for so long, this becomes rusted out. Rusted metal eventually gets holes in it, and those holes are going to allow moisture and water to come in. And so, especially in a valley where it's a high traffic area for water, right? Because all of the water is going to accumulate to here, and from over here it's going to accumulate down to this valley, and then this whole channel here is just a huge avenue for water. You do not want holes in that valley space. So another thing to watch out for when you have a roof, or you see a roof like this, it's just a great idea to upgrade to an asphalt shingle, in my humble opinion. While we're here, I do want to talk about another couple of items that I look for when I do my roof inspection, and that's these trees that are very close to the roof line, especially the pine trees that you see here. These needles fall off and they gather in your gutters, and they clog it up, and it looks really bad. It performs really bad. It doesn't collect the water or deposit that water where it needs to, and it starts building up, as you can see here. So a good rule of thumb is if you have mature pine trees, get a micro mesh gutter installed, or gutter guard rather, installed in your gutters to eliminate any roof granules or any pine needles from accumulating inside your gutter. And it only really allows water to get in, so it's a good solution if this is an issue that you're dealing with. Another thing I'll point out, the last thing I'll point out as I'm over here on this side, is look how close this roof line is to the edge of the gutter, because these types of gutters here, they're 3-inch gutters. They're not even made anymore because they don't perform well, because it's not large enough to collect the water runoff. You get a lot of water coming down off that ridge there. It's a lot of it, if it's a heavy rain, it's just going to overshoot and it's going to land down there somewhere close to your foundation. And a good rule of thumb is 5 feet. You want your water deposited 5 feet away from the base of your house so that it can't come back into your foundation. So we see a gutter like this, we immediately think, okay, that should be upgraded to a 5-inch gutter. And we see these pine needles and we think, okay, that needs to be upgraded to a micro mesh gutter guard. And we see this wood shake and think, okay, that needs to be upgraded to a class 3 or class 4 shingle. So ask us how we can help you guys out on this. Our inspections are free, and we'll come out, we'll take a look at your roof, we'll take a look at the entire situation, put together a scope for your particular project, because not all houses are the same. Most houses, it doesn't even matter if it's cookie cutter, it's not going to be the same. And we'll put together a customized scope for you and customized plan for you, and then we like to back that entire thing up, that entire deal, with a lifetime workmanship warranty. So ask us how we can help you.